Hi, my name's Lauren and I'm from the little island of Jersey, Channel Islands. So I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about my experience at Nemia Kaya. So I started with plant medicine work around 3 years ago when I accidentally ended up in Ecuador. From that moment, my life had changed and I realized the significance of the medicine. I had some experience with medicines in Europe over the 3 years. However, I had never been able to get to Peru and experience the medicine with the Shipibo lineage, which I had done extensive research on and knew that if I wanted to go deeper with ayahuasca, that it was probably one of the best lineages for me to work with to get that deeper sense of the medicine. So the time came around and I actually just Googled places in Peru, looking for places to find a ayahuasca retreat. And I knew from previous experience, having been in Colombia, how important the center and the retreat was to pick. So as we now know, there's quite a few centers on the internet, and you're almost inundated with options. And it's really important now that ayahuasca tourism has become so popular that you pick people that are credible. So, something else popped into my head at the time. A friend had told me a while back that Pucallpa was a great area in Peru, and it was full of legitimate Shipibo shamans, that there was a strong community here. So I typed that into Google, Pucallpa Ayahuasca Retreat, and I found Nimia Kaya. Instantly, from looking on the website, I knew that I aligned with the place. I knew that the experience and the knowledge that this center had was paramount compared to what I had received before, what I had been looking at. And it made me feel really safe and secure coming to a center that had relationships with the Shipibo community for a number of years developed, that these people had been working with the centers for years, and that there was obviously a strong sense of trust with these people who were working and serving the medicine. So that ultimately made my decision. I was really happy with what I saw on the website and got in touch. And soon I was speaking to Jill, and at this point, I knew I'd made the right decision. The conversations with Jill just eased me about how the place was run, what facilities there were, um, the emails that I got on the lead up to the retreat were incredible. There's a lot of research that you need to do before you come to these places, and there's a lot of information on the internet. And this is written by people, their own perspective, their own opinions, and you never really know what information's correct, what somebody's experience and what's, subjective. And this is where Jill came in and sent so many emails that had so many preparation guides that were helpful, that were to the point. There was journal prompts, diet recommendations, just general information to make you feel at ease, feel at home, and get you prepared for the center. So yeah, at that point, I knew that I'd made the right decision. From the moment you arrive at Nimia Kaya, it is a magical experience walking across the bridge through the jungle into the wonderful grounds. It was like a fairy tale. I couldn't believe that it was real. This place, it's a magical vortex, and you understand that the moment you step foot in here. One thing I will mention whilst I'm here is the food. The food at Nimia Kaya is second to none. I've been at other retreats where the food was great, but there wasn't so much variety, and you found yourself getting quite bored of the menu quite quickly. That doesn't happen here at Nemia Kaya because so much thought is put into every single recipe. And you're also given a recipe book that you can follow before and after your retreat, which has some of the meals that are actually made here. The meals that I tried to make following the recipe book weren't quite as good as the meals made here because the ladies just put so much extra love and attention and care into your food, and it makes it really easy to follow the diet whilst feeling satiated the entire time you're here. So big thank you to the ladies in the kitchen, because yeah, the food really helps ground you, really helps nourish you, and the constant smiles and laughs that come from that kitchen are really reassuring. You just know how much love is in that food. So the facilities at Kaya are incredible. I was so over the moon with my Tambo where I stayed. So Tambo is the little cabins that they have here, and I was really impressed. The website states that the place is, a little bit rustic. It's a basic place for you to really work on yourself, but I was overwhelmed with how beautiful the place was. Simple, minimalistic, but really clean, really loads of attention to detail, and you have everything that you need inside your tambo. That you are never short of anything. Full bottles of water, extra blankets, mosquito nets, a fan, there's a desk, everything that you need and more. Quickly going back to the nature, the animals that you see around here were maybe one of my favorite things. So there are small saddleback monkeys that are all around the grounds. They often make their way around the jungle through the tambos, and they end up at the back of where the kitchen and the dining area is. And you can go and give the bananas out to the monkeys, and they come up real close and they take the banana from you. And that was an absolute highlight of my experience here. Along with the monkeys, we saw a sloth, which was just incredible. One of the cutest things I've ever seen. There's constantly butterflies, dragonflies, all sorts of things in the nature, and everywhere you look, there's something new. And the facilitators here are really lovely people who have been doing their own work. They're very informed about the plants, about the Shipibo lineage. The information that they give you is second to none, and the love that they spread is just beautiful. It's so nice to be surrounded by people who understand what you're going through and can help you process all of that whilst you're here in just such a fun, loving, and non-judgmental way. The ceremonies themselves are held so beautifully, so dignified, so powerfully. It it's funny because you can't put words to a ceremony. It's impossible to describe. So I just want to talk about the space that is held. Um, one of the things that really got me here was looking at the shamans and their experience and their time working at Kaya, and it's something that you can't deny. Their experience, their love, and the way they hold the space is it's just so beautiful. My heart's filling up now just thinking about it. Just know that if you come here, you're in safe hands with people who have numerous years experience. The ceremonies are beautiful. Just to name a couple of things that happened to me whilst I was here, I had put the intention in that I was asking for help with motherhood, to become a wife, and that ceremony, my entire ovaries and womb and the whole system down there was completely cleaned out by Augusto, one of the shamans. I could pinpoint what had happened, and often when I'm working with medicine, I understand that I'm purging, but I don't often know why I'm purging or what it's associated to. But this was clear. This was so clear as day what he was doing and the power that he had. I knew my intention going into this ceremony, but he didn't. And yet, that was still the work that he did. It was incredible. I had many more experiences that, again, I just can't put into words. So many neural pathways have been opened, so much research is needed to be done, and so much work and shadow work and things like that now need to be integrated. Which takes me on to my next point is the integration circles. The integration circles here, I think, are one of the most important things that happen. It's such an incredible space where you can share your entire heart, your fears, your shadow without judgment. And I believe getting these things out of you, off your chest, is integral to healing. And the space that's held by the facilitators is incredible. And what's really interesting is watching everybody open up as they go deeper with their ceremonies. So, on the first integration circle, people kind of a little bit sheepish, not so forthcoming, um, you know, a little bit still in their head, and it's repeated over and over, out of the mind into the heart. And then by integration 4, it's like people that are so open now, they're sharing their deepest fears, their deepest desires, and their complete heart. And it's so beautiful to just see that development of people over the 4 days during the integration. And it's a really moving um, and vulnerable space. And, I'm getting emotional now just thinking about some of our integrations. So it's paramount that you integrate the medicine, and it's really nice that Nimia Kaya give you that space. Following that, they also run a session called the High Vibe session or the What Now session. And I have never seen this done in any of the retreats that I have been a part of, and it was astonishing the amount of work and thought and preparation that goes into this session by the owners, by the facilitators. And I think this really changed a whole perspective for me. There's been times when I've left retreat centers in the past and I felt quite, the word abandoned isn't correct, but I felt quite lost because I've had these incredible experiences. I've been with these incredible people, and then I get on a plane and I go home, and the journey completely stops from there. There's no further communication. I wasn't given any information about how to integrate this when I got home, how to speak to people when I got home about my experience, how to continue the work. And so I was often in this beautiful, loving community and then straight back into the matrix at home. And it's very jarring. And sometimes, looking back in hindsight, I feel like maybe some of the work that I had done in these past retreats was somewhat squandered or wasted because I didn't understand how to carry the medicine through into my real life. So that's why I just thought that the High Vibes What Now session here was so paramount and so important, and really prepares you to go home and to be able to continue working with this medicine for a lifetime, not just whilst you're at Nimia Kaya. And I believe that more and more people are getting the calling to work with plant medicine. If you're there and you're stuck deciding where to go, who to pick, I can assure you that coming to Nimia Kaya is one of the best choices you will ever make.